Hey everyone, it's me Gavin and welcome back to the channel. Today we take a look back at the life of quite possibly one of the most sophisticated villains that we've seen in recent years. Yes, that's right, the Honkai Chronicles for Otto Apocalypse and Honkai Impact 3rd. Now, Otto is one of those villains that he's a little bit more deeper in my opinion. He has a lot going on that you don't really see at face value. At the same time, you hate him, you love to hate him, but you gotta empathize with them if you see some of these certain scenes. If you guys aren't familiar with the game, I would like to tell you right now that there's definitely going to be spoilers in this video. However, it is a little bit lengthy, so I am itching to get into this. I'd just like to remind you, if you guys do enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Now, with that out of the way, let's dive into it. Alright, here we go.
Life is but a walking shadow. A clumsy actor gesturing on the stage.
Dude, he's so good.
Who only appears briefly and steps off in silence.
He's so good.
Otto Apocalypse, the most pathetic fool alive.
Jeez, man.
He is the revered Schicksal overseer. He is a corrupt, bigoted clown. Over centuries, he once sacrificed lives beyond count for his selfish desires, but also overthrew a decadent reign with people's support. He treated humans as pawns and trampled the value of emotion and life, but treasured Valkyries at the front line and prayed for their triumphant return. Commitment and betrayal, friend and foe, truth and lies. No one has ever seen through him, but to Otto himself, his actions only served one purpose. It all began in an afternoon 500 years ago.
It's all true, but damn man, does that hurt to hear. The guy is so misunderstood.
Though Otto was born in the Three Houses, he was frail and sickly. He could only craft whimsical inventions, which naturally deprived him of inheritance. His older brothers detested his effort at self-destruction, but no one noticed his inner needs and desires.
Except for Colin.
It was then that a white-haired, blue-eyed girl brightened Otto's cold and dull heart like a ray of sunshine. She praised Otto's work sincerely, expected great inventions from him,
The great
and
inventor.
invited him to save the world with her. For the first time in his life, young Otto felt recognized. He could be expected. He could be needed. Since that faraway afternoon, everything he did has gained meaning because of her validation.
And that's something that everybody needs to understand about this
But the twisted
antagonist
fate
or
would
villain.
not spare them. The rampant
Extremely
plague
vital.
and the failed crusade tore the prosperity they lived in apart. Power and force were the perfect fuel for greed, turning a shaky faith into the breeding ground for degeneracy. In the turmoil, the lives of the two reached a turning point.
Everything went to
Fearing
shit.
abandonment, Otto chose to disregard ethics and performed experiments on dying patients. He sought findings at all costs. Callan, who could not condone his crime, became a raven at night to spread hope and enact the justice in her heart. But
Both on
lies
the
were lies.
opposite sides of the spectrum.
After many operations, Callan discovered the secrets of the human experiments, and Otto exposed himself at the last minute. Before the infinite greed of Schicksal, individual will was nothing. Callan was imprisoned. The cold bars separated the two that were once childhood friends, yet their minds had already drifted further apart.
Man, what an
To
incredible
Callan, the
story.
dignity of
Like,
life
there's
was
just
what she
the
had
setup
sworn
for
to
this
defend. To Otto,
is so
morality and
damn
ethics
well
were
thought
only
out.
prices to be paid. A loud slap and a conflict of beliefs sent them on completely different paths. Otto knew that in no way could he stop Callan. He accepted it and helped her escape in silence. After everything settled, Otto was given the key to the library. Although Void Archives used the index permission as a bait,
which
in
literally
an
set
attempt to
everything into
possess
motion.
Otto did not fall for it. He developed technology with pieces of knowledge and thus a game that would last centuries began. In the days that followed, Otto searched for Callan while continuing his research and experiments. When he heard Callan was in danger in Yai village, he immediately had Oath of Judah delivered, but not the response letter that spoke his loving heart. Meanwhile, Callan sealed the Hersher of corruption in the black box with Oath of Judah, but was severely wounded. She was taken back to Europe by Schicksal for a trial.
All of this
Callan
is pretty
was
much
faithful
explained in the manga.
and refused to sacrifice for family feuds, and thus was sentenced to hanging. Otto tried everything he could, but it was futile before the church's will. On the day of execution, the desperate Otto released Honkai Beast on the execution ground. He planned to take Callan amid the chaos, but he underestimated Callan's resolve.
She wanted
In
to
the
save
end,
the people.
Callan lost her life when protecting the people. Losing the love of his life painted Otto's world gray again. Resentful, he chased after Callan's shadow. He tried to give this sad story a happy ending as she would have wanted.
Such a
He sounded
poor,
the horn
poor,
of
sad soul,
revolution
man.
with his wisdom and cleansed the remaining evil with his hands. People sang his accomplishments, and soldiers admired his resourcefulness.
But that's not
As
enough.
cheers of victory echoed through the silent church, Otto could not help but ask himself if this was enough. In the centuries that followed, the hole inside Otto was still agape. The only way to mend it was to revive the love of his life and the holy maid of the people, Callan Kaslana.
Nothing, no amount of praise could replace the loss of Cullen.
In 1496, Otto had no choice but to travel to Shenzhou in search of the legendary Master Phoenix for a chance to revive Callan. He met the fledgling swordswoman Li Sushan and found the reborn Fu Hua. But to his surprise, even an immortal celestial had regrets and could not bring back departed souls. In the end, Otto and Fu Hua made a pact. Schicksal would protect Shenzhou in the powerless Fu Hua's place, and Fu Hua would serve Schicksal as a Valkyrie.
Now that part I didn't remember,
In
so I may have forgotten
1952,
that.
The first Honkai eruption broke out. Schicksal captured the amnesiac first Hersher and performed 3 years worth of serial experiments on him, which yielded nothing. Otto even approached him in person to persuade him into succeeding to the Schicksal Overseer, but failed. To eliminate risks, Otto decided to wipe out the North American branch that was about to discover Schicksal's ugly truth. He launched Honkai fission missiles at New York, where tens of millions lived. Heroes defending freedom and justice
This is
stepped
where his
forward
descent
and crushed Otto's
starts.
scheme at the cost of their lives. This led to the independence of anti-entropy. This failure taught Otto to take hold of the power to retaliate Honkai, which led to the Clone Project and the Artificial Stigma Project. In 1972, Otto began running forbidden clone experiments in the hope of reviving Callan, but the results were not satisfactory. After injecting the cells of Honkai Beast Vishnu, the first living batch of Callan clones was born. Otto made them fight one another to death at the end of the survival test. Only
Teresa.
the individual numbered A310 rejected this absurd order. Her kindness in valuing life and her courage to defy her maker shocked Otto. He took A310 into his family and named her Teresa Apocalypse. Meanwhile, Otto established the Tower of Babylon laboratory to study artificial stigmata.
Dude, this is so damn good.
Countless gifted children were taken from their parents and subjected to
Siren.
inhumane experiments day and night. Insurmountable suffering
Oh my
and
God,
hatred
dude.
against humanity nourished these Honkai vessels. At last, Siren, the second Hersher, was born.
God, man.
Otto mustered Valkyrie troops to subdue the Hersher,
Cecilia.
dived into her sentience with the
Segure.
help of Fu Hua, and received revelation from the will of Honkai.
Who took
After
on
many
his form.
great
The will of
sacrifices were
Honkai
made,
always takes on
Otto
the form
gave
of
the order
whoever
to
it's
launch
speaking to.
Honkai fission missiles at Siberia to bury the truth deep beneath the scorched snowfield.
Son of a bitch.
Otto's resurrection project gradually took shape due to the guidance from above.
This is the best Honkai Chronicles yet.
For several years, Otto tried to create the most promising clone with Kiana Kaslana and Siren's genes for the second Hersher to possess upon return. He transplanted the core of the second Hersher to the test subject numbered K423. The longing for Cecilia gave her life. After being taken to Saint Freya by Himeko, the love she felt and the bond she made helped her learn to love this world and those around her.
I literally
Kiana
can't stop
move
saying
along
it, man.
the path he designed,
The story
Otto knew when
is
she began
so
to believe
damn
she
good.
would never be alone was when he could advance the plan. In the illusory Tower of Babylon, the girl's despair and longing for motherly love facilitated the Hersher Persona's awakening. Fuhua took her back to Schicksal. The experiment pod confined her once again. Facing the pod, Otto's eyes only showed a hunger for the Hersher of the Void's power. As Otto injected
knew he needed
enormous
it.
Honkai energy into K423, Hersher of the Void returned. Otto saved the dying Fuhua and told her his plan. Looking into Fuhua's furious eyes, Otto paused for a short yet long moment.
Yet again.
Pulled the trigger.
Son of a bitch.
Everything went according to his plan. Himeko burned up herself to tear through Siren's will.
Dude, so
Kiana's
much
sentience
like tragedy
returned to
and
the body
anguish
of the
was
Hersher.
caused due to him.
To obtain a Hersher of the Void who could command the power with human will, Otto trampled emotions and disregarded lives. Otto believed that love and emotional bonds could evoke miracles, but he never respected nor honored them. So far, Callan's revival was only missing a key: Cosmic Juggernaut's beacon. Previously, to reach the imaginary tree that governed how worlds worked, Schicksal cracked the legend of King Arthur and found the key of infinity that
Holy
offered
shit.
space travel in the River Thames, but it was incomplete. Durandal passed
That's something
Pioneer
I
Sue's
didn't
test
realize.
by chance and received information and experience as
I remember
numerous
reading
as
it in
sand
one of
grains
the
in
mangas,
Ganges.
but I
To complete
did not
Cosmic Juggernaut,
put two and two together.
Otto struck a deal with World Serpent's leader. He traded Void Archives for Cosmic Juggernaut's beacon. When the Hersher of Dominance and Hyperion were locked in battle, he took the Theater of Domination and thousands of cores in secret.
Securing the Hersher of Binding's power,
At
right?
last, the fully prepared Otto returned to the beginning. Kolisten, where Schicksal's blood and tears were buried. It would become the end of his long journey. On the other side of the stage, Valkyries had readied themselves as well. Teresa would succeed as the Schicksal overseer
Everything
and lead the newborn
according to his
Schicksal toward a
plan.
bright future.
Keep that in mind throughout
Bronya
the
would
entirety
shoulder
of the
weight
story.
the Welt name, for the Hersher of Reason's path had stretched to her. Fuhua concluded a feud that spanned centuries, so she could embrace yesterday as a human and open the door to tomorrow. Kiana broke free from the shackles of fate and created a trail of flames that would guide them forward with her friends. Durandal
So many
broke through the
great
barrier
moments.
of Kaslana and earned a new heritage that only belonged to her.
And I can't wait for that battle suit.
Valkyries were eager to settle accounts with Otto. Indeed, they won. Their crushing victory was a heavy blow to Otto. What they did not know was that their growth, their resolve, and even the joy of winning
All
were
facilitated.
also part of Otto's plan.
All facilitated by
What he
him.
planned for in the past 500 years was but a bargaining chip to attain death and a new life. After being defeated by Valkyries, Otto broke free from Imaginary's control momentarily. He imbued the world's wedge with all the false god's power to create infinite possibilities for Callan. As Otto left his last message, his sentience finally dissipated in the still time-space.
You gotta admire his
To different
determination.
people, Otto perhaps means different things. But to Otto himself, all rights and wrongs are transient. He has attained eternal peace. His life as a fool is finally over.
This one's tough to watch, man. You just started the story not really caring about him, and they just weave this incredible journey that makes you care about this guy that you honestly you just hate. That was absolutely amazing, and honestly, I think that to me is probably the best video that I've seen out of Hoyoverse thus far. Otto's one incredible character, extremely well written. I don't think anybody can deny that. Honestly, I think we're probably still gonna see stuff from Otto in the future. If not, there's gonna be some similarities with other characters, like one that we do see in APHO as well. I don't really know what else to say about him, because this just summarizes literally everything in his life, his journey thus far, and it just does it so damn well. He's just one of those characters, again, that you just really gotta admire his determination and his unwavering, just determination to bring back Colin over the course of 500 years. The dude never gave up, and every single thing that he put into place, all of his plan was put into motion so meticulously that literally everything it could not break free from that fate, from what he was designing. He's just such a damn good character. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video, because I'm just gonna ramble on way too long about this guy. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys do like the video, then please, again, remember to give it a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to the channel. I honestly just can't wait to play more Honkai Impact 3rd and see where things go from here. Thank you guys again. I will see you all for the next one. Take care. Peace.